Chapter 761. Some stay, some leave. Yu Feng's interview received a lot of attention. The media didn't want to mess things up for a headline article. A live interview and a plausible reason made it trustworthy information. Yu Feng's decision was controversial, but most people could understand his decision. Fame, money, status. No matter what one pursued, it would usually be one of these, whether that was in the competitive scene or life as a whole. In the glory competitive scene, fame and glory reigned supreme. Every pro player pursued these two things. However, this didn't mean everyone was willing to give up everything in their pursuit for glory. Some could step back for a higher status, or for higher pay. If Yu Feng wanted fame and glory, remaining in Team Blue Rain would be better than joining Team 100 Blossoms. However, Yu Feng clearly placed more importance on his position in the team. As a currently rising all-star, his reason for transferring was completely understandable. No ambitious player would be satisfied with being stuck as the number 3 player on the team. Those who felt more intensely about their position might even think that they were underappreciated. Leaving was naturally unavoidable for them. It was because of this reason that Team Tyranny's strength on paper felt inconceivable. Because they were in the declining years of their career, their desire to be the champions exceeded everything else. Lin Jingyan and Zhang Jiali were their former team's ace players. For them, choosing retirement might be a better option than retreating to become the ace player of a middle-tier team. After Yu Feng's interview, 100 Blossoms began making publicity statements for the new season. During the past few days, they had to shoulder way too much slander, yet they never responded with any PR. With this transfer, their PR would appear stronger. 100 Blossoms also knew about the previous successive transfers. Just saying a few words probably wouldn't be enough to calm their fans down. Only an actual move could make their words prove to be effective and carry weight. Even so, many fans still didn't understand why Dazzling 100 Blossoms needed to be sold, but after Team 100 Blossoms utilized media outlets to give a few statements, they finally understood the reason a little more. Team 100 Blossoms selling Dazzling 100 Blossoms didn't mean that they were abandoning the Spitfire class. Next season, Zhou Yuan would continue to receive the club's support. This time, their support would be a lot more intimate. The team wouldn't force Zhou Yuan to adapt to Dazzling 100 Blossoms. Instead, they would create a brand new Spitfire character that fit Zhou Yuan's playstyle better. A character was supposed to be a service to the team, not an obstacle. A powerful god-level character could greatly increase a team's strength, but to a certain degree, it also inhibit a team structure, reducing flexibility and many other possibilities. Team 100 Blossoms wished to get rid of such a roadblock, allowing the team rebuild and walk a path much more suitable with their current situation. In front of the media, the spokesperson for Team 100 Blossoms spoke frankly with assurance. His logical statement won the support of many fans. Fact number 1. There were no outstanding Spitfire players to inherit Dazzling 100 Blossoms. Zhang Jiali was willing to sacrifice everything to become a champion. No matter what Team 100 Blossoms could have done, they wouldn't be able to compete with Team Tyranny's overwhelming force of 4 ace players. Zhang Jiali was already determined to join this team with the greatest chance at winning the championships. This was fact number 2. Facing these two facts, what was the point in holding on to Dazzling 100 Blossoms? If it remained on the team, it would just sit there and collect dust. If they sold it for 16 million, the money would be used as a resource for their development in the future. From one perspective, the character would be serving the team one final time. This topic lasted from the end of the 3rd week, and all the way to the 4th week. The wild bosses refreshed. The elite players were busy once again. Many of them were feeling anxious after being teased with several successive transfers. Everyone was waiting to see which big transfer would happen this week. What happened this week had been foreshadowed long ago, unlike the past 3 weeks with surprising transfers one after the other. The contract for Team Tiny Herb's vice-captain, Deng Fusheng, had ended last season. After considering his options for a period of time, he eventually decided not to renew his contract with Team Tiny Herb. At the same time, he refused all offers from other teams and announced his retirement. Deng Fusheng had been a pro player for 6 years. However, he wasn't a god who had been brilliant as a rookie. He had been a drifter for the first 3 years. He switched teams 3 times in 3 years. This didn't affect his mindset though. No matter which team he played for, he was always very diligent. Finally, he was noticed by a top team. In Season 6, the newly crowned champion Team Tiny Herb sent him an invitation to join them. The following year, he and Team Tiny Herb won their second championship and became a championship team 2 years in a row. Deng Fusheng was undoubtedly a very lucky player. Many incredible players gave their all only to achieve nothing. He had come from a middle-tier team and then rode Team Tiny Herb's championship train to win a championship title. Who knew what magic was at work for that to happen? Deng Fusheng was very content with his career. He understood that his talent was limited. Getting a position in a team like Tiny Herb was already pushing his limit. Not only did he get a position, but he even became the team's vice-captain, became an all-star player, and even won a championship with the team. He never fired back at those mocking remarks. He happily accepted their words when they called him lucky and never mentioned how much work he had put in. Deng Fusheng wasn't young. He had obtained everything he could have wanted from Team Tiny Herb. When Team Tiny Herb needed some fresh blood, he chose to give up his position. Deng Fusheng didn't have any thoughts towards offers from other teams. He was content with what he had achieved and didn't feel like he could get anything more from continuing to play the game. Deng Fusheng's retirement passed peacefully. Because he was a very ordinary person. His achievements caused many to be jealous, but besides that, there was nothing to criticize him for. As for those sayings about his good luck, Wang Jiaxi once returned fire, which he seldom did. If being lucky is a bad thing, I'd love to be lucky. Deng Fusheng's retirement wasn't sudden. Most players would renew their contract half a year before they even expired. Deng Fusheng hadn't renewed his though, which indicated that he wanted to ponder his future. At his age, retirement was a conclusion that many easily jumped to. And now he made his decision. Team Tiny Herb took the lead to show their sadness at his departure. They, of course, gave him their blessings for his future. At the same time, they announced a friendly exhibition match for Deng Fusheng that would take place during the break. This exhibition match would be held as thanks for all that Deng Fusheng had contributed to the team. As for the other teams that Deng Fusheng had once been a part of, they also stood up to say a few words. They recalled Deng Fusheng's situation in the team and praised him. Even his former opponents put in a few good words. His departure was sad, but also filled with warmth. The sparks flying around because of these past 3 weeks died down for this old general's retirement. Every summer, there would be huge noise over the transfers. At the same time, there was always an old general who retired. Last year, Zhang Zhao's retirement was undoubtedly a huge event. It was also very sudden and controversial too. It wasn't as warm or sorrowful as the retirement for most players. This summer, the transfer market was filled with things to see. Deng Fusheng's retirement added a different feel. Of the retired players this summer, Deng Fusheng would probably be the most important to step down. There was the passion of those who wanted to continue their struggle and the sorrow of those who no longer wanted to continue. Deng Fusheng left the scene very peacefully. He didn't create any miracles, nor was he any legend. However, he still left his mark in the alliance. Deng Fusheng would begin his new life. The competitive scene would not be shaken because of the recent startling transfers, nor the retirement of a player though. After Deng Fusheng retired, everyone quickly discussed who Team Tiny Herb would get to take his spot. For a powerhouse championship team like Tiny Herb, any transfer would be noticed by the alliance. Besides Deng Fusheng, the best knight was undoubtedly Team 301's Xu Bin. Many even considered Xu Bin better than Deng Fusheng. Xu Bin just didn't look as good because his team wasn't a championship one. Xu Bin was the number one guess, but there were many other choices too. Compared to Spitfires, knights were much more abundant in glory. It had to do with the class. Knights were main tanks in the game and tanks were considered much more difficult to play than DPS or healer classes. Glory didn't completely depend on the iron triangle of a tank, a healer, and a damage dealer. However, tanks being an extremely difficult role had never changed. Playing as a knight was a show of confidence in one's skill. Those who couldn't play the class would have a hard time finding a spot in any party. This class was one that spawned experts. As a result, those who stood out from those experts and became pro players were especially outstanding. This was why many felt that Deng Fusheng was extremely lucky. After Deng Fusheng's departure, gossip immediately bounced about. Everyone was guessing what Team Tiny Herb might have in mind. Chapter 762. Revenge. The fourth week passed fairly peacefully. Although rumors spread of who would take Deng Fusheng's place, Team Tiny Herb didn't make any moves. Of course, that was only to the outsiders. In reality, no outsider would know what was really happening within the team. The media did not get a heads up on any of the previous important transfers. They were caught off guard every time. This time, they could finally see some first signs of a development. Every night player watched closely. Even the slightest sway of a blade of grass appeared in the news. Many of the players being talked about had no choice but to come out and deny the allegations. This was the trouble brought about by getting wind of a piece of information ahead of time. With so much disturbance sprouting from all sorts of places, something unexpected just might leak out. Who do you think Team Tiny Herb will look for to replace Deng Fusheng? How could those at Happy Internet Cafe not notice the gossip spreading around? Wei Chen idled around in the game and asked for Yishu's opinion out of boredom. Xu Bin, Yishu replied without thinking, he's also a very steady and patient player. He's very similar to Deng Fusheng in that aspect. He could very easily ease into Deng Fusheng's position in Tiny Herb. If he is signed over, there's no one more suitable for Tiny Herb. If even you can see that, the transfer probably won't be easy, Wei Chen spoke with a hint of sarcasm. This type of successor is always the hardest to find. Everyone's watching. How can they not hurry and take the opportunity to bring the hammer down? Yishu said. It was as if reality wanted to prove that Yishu was never wrong. After having so many rumors fly around, the dust finally settled. Team 301's Knight Xu Bin announced that he would be joining Team Tiny Herb. This transfer was a trade. In order to obtain Xu Bin, Team Tiny Herb traded one of their own all-star players. The player for their grappler, Flying Drops, Li Yui. Team Tiny Herb and Team Blue Rain were the only two teams in recent years to have 3 all-star players in a single team. However, everything had now been thrown into disorder this summer. Yu Feng had left Team Blue Rain. On Team Tiny Herb, Deng Fusheng retired and Li Yui had been let go. Although the new Xu Bin would very likely become an all-star this upcoming season, Team Tiny Herb would only have 2 all-stars until that happened. The two teams were looking to cut their losses, searching for any breakthroughs this summer transfer window. In the beginning, the two teams remained quiet. Their first movements weakened the team's strength. No one felt like these two powerhouses would just resign themselves to their losses. In the following few days, these two would most likely make huge moves. The gossip generals once again responded instantly, analyzing the future plans of these two teams. They ignored the needs of other teams and focused solely on their own team if they had the choice to pick whoever they wanted freely. On the 5th week, the announcement of an enormous purchase offer made everyone's glasses fall off. The important transfer wasn't from Team Blue Rain or Team Tiny Herb, but the reigning champions, Team Samsara. Champion teams rarely made any huge changes. They generally sought out small fixes. Team Samsara's offer was to patch up one of their weaknesses. After Team Tiny Herb's Li Yui was traded for Xu Bin, Team Samsara offered a price of 8 million for the currently unused grappler, Flying Drops. Team Tiny Herb had yet to find a replacement for their loss and someone had put their hands in the pot. Their fans had a hard time enduring it. They pointed their fingers at Samsara and started throwing slander at them. It was an official purchase though. There was nothing wrong with what they did. In the end, the Tiny Herb fans could only say stuff like "don't get carried away." The fans of both teams argued back and forth. The two teams haggled. In the end, Flying Drops was sold over to Team Samsara for a price of 9.5 million. Tiny Herb's fans shut their mouths in astonishment, which naturally drew mocking remarks from Samsara's, but what could they do? The fans didn't understand the club's intentions. Encountering a mishap and being slapped in the face was nothing new. After all, the clubs would never publicly reveal their plans. Even if the team had initially planned on selling Flying Drops, another team yelling out a price wasn't a part of the plan. Why else did the initial offer of 8 million turn into 9.5 million? If the team wanted others to know of their intentions, Team Samsara probably wouldn't have been able to quote a price of 8 million. Flying Drops was also an all-star level grappler. Samsara's grappler Lu Boyuan performed exceptionally well in the playoffs last season. The addition of an all-star character would perfectly complement the team's needs. As for Team Tiny Herb, what did they plan on doing by getting rid of both Li Yuhui and Flying Drops? No one understood. What Tiny Herb or Blue Rain would do next was a question on everyone's minds. Halfway through the 5th week, July ended and August began. During this period of time, Happy Internet Cafe's business was doing well. Their wild boss hunts in the heavenly domain were going quite smoothly as well. Rumors and gossip continued to fly about every day. Along with having the opportunity to spend time with her idol, Chen Guo was having the summer of her life. It was the first day of August. When she woke up, she thought today would be just like any other day, but she discovered that she was actually the last one to arrive. The mood in the practice room was grave. Did something new happen? This was Chen Guo's first reaction. She immediately ran to the computer to check. Boss, it's time to register, Yi Shu said. Register? Chen Guo was puzzled. Register for the Challenger League, Yi Shu said. Oh, Chen Guo suddenly understood. The registration period for next season's Challenger League began on the first day of August. During this month, a team could sign up for the Challenger League, as long as the team fulfilled the requirement of having 6 players. The winner of the Challenger League would win the right to join the alliance and officially become a professional team. All their work over the past few months had all been for this very day. To think she had forgotten. Chen Guo felt ashamed. Then we're just going to register like this? Chen Guo looked at the others in the room. It's just going to be who we have now? There's also Little Hands and Cold Light. Ah, no, it's Little Cold Hands and Concealed Light, Steamed Bun reminded Chen Guo. Chen Guo thought about it for a second before nodding her head. She didn't bother explaining to Steamed Bun that she said who we have now, not who we have here, but when she nodded her head, she also asked, what about deception? That guy still lacks discipline, Yi Shu sighed. In all the times that you've disciplined him, have you ever told him who you were? Chen Guo asked. I did occasionally, Yi Shu said. Occasionally, Chen Guo wanted to cry. So you're saying deception died for nothing countless times. But dying so many times, if he isn't stupid, he should know that I'm the one behind it, Yi Shu said. Why exactly do you keep on killing him for? Chen Guo asked. He has no future in scrap picking, so he should go play for us, Yi Shu waved his hands. What type of logic is that? Chen Guo wiped her forehead. Once his interest in scrap picking disappears completely, he will be more likely to consider my proposal, no? So you're saying you're not certain, Chen Guo said. Well yeah, it's not like we're close friends or anything, Yi Shu said. Quote. Now I see that this youngster has quite the willpower, Yi Shu looked at his monitor and sighed. Tang Ru stuck her head into the conversation. From the recent statistics provided by Little In, that guy has started showing up less and less. Could I have killed him too much and made him so depressed that he's thinking of deleting his account? Yi Shu said. You've ruined a good seed, Chen Guo grieved. It's also possible that he's figured out your schedule, so he avoids you guys like how you guys avoid Zhang Jinji, Wei Chen said. It's us, not you guys. You've killed him many times too, Yi Shu corrected Wei Chen first before nodding his head. That's also very likely. It seems like we need to ask for help. Ask for help? Chen Guo asked. Soon afterwards, Yi Shu opened up QQ and clicked on one of the many pro-player group chats. He sent out a big horn emoji and started shouting wildly, Zhang Jinji, Old Lin, if you're here, say here. Amidst the eyes of a bunch of pro players, Zhang Jinji and Lin Jingyan wiped the sweat off their forehead through emojis. Chen Guo watched with excitement. All of them were huge names in glory. They were using the same sweat wipe and black line emojis like ordinary people. It appeared very funny. PM, Yi Shu said. Breaking news. There's breaking news, someone shouted. Chen Guo saw that it was Team Void's Li Shu, a merciless assassin. Who would have thought that he was a gossiper? Yi Shu ignored his groundless screeching. Zhang Jinji messaged Yi Shu, what's up? Where's Old Lin? Yi Shu asked. He's with me. Is there something you need? I need some help, Yi Shu said. What help? Help killing a person, Yi Shu said. He hastily added, in the game. Don't think too much. Chen Guo wiped some sweat away. Did he really need to say that? Zhang Jinji was a serious person, but would he go so far as to think Yi Shu actually meant kill a person in real life? Zhang Jinji ignored Yi Shu's comment and continued. He's sometimes called deception, sometimes called not white, sometimes called white not. He's a scrap picker, Yi Shu said. What did he do to offend you? Zhang Jinji asked. He's a scrap picker. He stole my stuff. That's a very serious crime, Yi Shu said. Do you really need to go so far? You even know what his alternate accounts are. You must have killed him several times already, Zhang Jinji said. How narrow-minded of you. You guys are taking advantage of me while I'm away to win a championship title. You guys have offended me too. Just wait for me to come back. I'll destroy you guys, Yi Shu said. Speak after you pass through the Challenger League before talking. Zhang Jinji had already closed the chat window. Help me kill him, Yi Shu urged. If I see him, Zhang Jinji continued to be serious. If he saw him, he'd kill him. If not, he wouldn't go out of his way. What did Yi Chu want? Lin Jingyan asked. He says there's a scrap picker who stole his stuff. He wants us to kill him if we see him, Zhang Jinji said. Oh, then if we see him, we'll kill him, Lin Jingyan replied. It was a small matter. For these two gods, it was as simple as moving their hands. If someone begged you to lift up your hands a bit, why should you refuse? Chapter 763. Actually collusion. Chen Guo was dumbstruck. Poor deception. At night, he would die to Yi Shu and Su Mucheng. During the day, he faced Zhang Jinji and Lin Jingyan. All stars would be rotating shifts with a mission to kill him. How was he supposed to even play glory? Seeing this setup, Chen Guo felt like it must succeed, or else it would truly be too sad. Should we wait for him before registering? Chen Guo asked. Sure. We just need to register before the month ends, Yi Shu tapped the table. Will Littlein and Luo Ji be coming over? When the time comes for deception to join, we might be able to gather everyone together, Chen Guo said. And when Yi and Luo Ji were university students. They were currently on vacation. And when Yi was first going to return home for a period of time. He said that he would pay a visit in August. Luo Ji was currently studying under his professor. He could only start once his break in August started, but he said that he would try to come and take a look. August had arrived. Neither of the two said when exactly they would be coming. From what they said, they could be coming any day now. Wei Chen had guessed Deception's situation correctly. After being killed over and over again while scrap-picking, he had figured out that it was all because of Yi Shu. No one could stay up 24/7 without rest. Who didn't know that? As a result, Deception began playing the time difference game with Yi Shu. Sure enough, as soon as he started his activities during the day, his situation instantly improved. Deception was quite cunning. He didn't completely switch schedules. From time to time, he would intentionally play at night. He couldn't play 24/7 either though. He left traces of his activity at night, but spent the majority of the time in the day. Unfortunately, and when Yi had carefully kept track of his appearance rate, along with someone as cunning as Wei Chen analyzing it, his trickery was easily exposed. Deception knew very well that he would not encounter any of those guys during the early morning. That morning, Deception logged in full of joy. Those guys weren't going to appear, so it didn't matter if he was using his main or his alternate account. His alternates were useless anyways. Deception went out for a stroll, obviously thinking about scrap-picking, but as a lone wolf, what he lacked most was information, which restricted the scope of Deception's scrap-picking. However, he had been in the business for a long time and had accumulated plenty of work experience. He would notice details that could be used to infer things that were going on. For example, he would do his best to keep track of which wild bosses had spawned each week. He would obviously avoid any areas where the wild boss had already been killed. He also took note of the teleportation portals, waiting at places where players had to pass through. If a huge number of guild players were moving towards a certain area, something was mostly likely happening. Wild boss battles were Deception's favorite scrap-picking fields. It was like how people who often flew on planes didn't want to ride on trains anymore. When there was so much profit to be earned, Deception could no longer look at small fights between normal players. No matter how much he scrap-picked from normal players, they could never compare with what the elite guild players dropped. Wild bosses were where the club guild's most high-end battles took place. A high-end scrap-picker like Deception would only scrap-pick here. After getting rid of his biggest obstacles using the time difference tactic, Deception excitedly started his day. August 2nd was Friday of the 5th week of the summer transfer window. There were still 3 days until the end of the week. The majority of the boss had already been killed. In these situations, finding information was much easier because there was less information to look through. Deception wasn't able to make it to the previous boss. He only knew about it after the system announcement appeared. He wasn't dispirited though. With just himself to rely on, he didn't make it to most of the wild boss battles. It was almost the weekend too, which meant there were plenty more opportunities. Finally, the movements resulting from the spawn of a new boss caught Deception's eye. He quietly followed behind a group of Blue Brook Guild players that came out of a teleport portal to a leveling area outside of the city. Soon, he could see the boss as well as the competing guild, Guild Misty Castle. Recently, the guilds who arrived first were always in a hurry because of the two dominating powers. If either of them showed up, it never spelled good news for them. No one dared to wait for these two opponents to arrive. Every guild would try to attack the boss as much as possible before they showed up. Accumulate more points in aggro before they could do anything. Afterwards, they would play it by ear. Through this method, they just might be able to get a boss every few days. At least, they wouldn't be completely empty-handed. When Blue Brook Guild arrived, they saw Guild Misty Castle and immediately pounced on them. The two guilds clashed very lightly. It was as if they were peacefully fighting the boss together. They wanted to make preparations for Tyrannical Ambition's arrival and didn't want to bother with one another. This scene wasn't one that Deception liked. No peeking meant no equipment to pick up. The battle had just begun though. Deception didn't go forward. He patiently waited on the side. Two other guilds soon arrived. One of them was Tyrannical Ambition. The guild tags lined the heads of their troops. Deception knew that the moment he was waiting had finally come. All of the guilds tensed up when Tyrannical Ambition appeared. Deception could even hear gasps of terror from many of the players. Deception ignored their nervousness. It had nothing to do with him. Once the bloody battle began, he would rush forward to pick up equipment. How much would he earn today? Deception calculated in his mind. Tyrannical Ambition walked closer and closer to him. He was unexpectedly in the middle between the two Tyrannical Ambition groups. Deception didn't think too much of it. He thought it was one of Tyrannical Ambition's tactics. Unfortunately, he didn't know about the conversation that was taking place between the leaders of the two Tyrannical Ambition groups. Isn't he that guy Yi Chu was telling us about? Lin Jingyan said. Deception. Yes, that's the name, Zhang Jinji replied. Look at how sneaky he's acting. It looks like he really does intend on scrap picking, Lin Jingyan said. Let's hurry up and kill him. We shouldn't waste any more time, Zhang Jinji replied. He had already given the orders. Lin Jingyan did the same. Tyrannical Ambition carried out their god's orders and attacked Deception. Deception was dead. He wasn't even able to say anything before he died. The troops instantly burst him down. He was thinking right now, was it some sort of accident? Because from his ghost's perspective, he could see Tyrannical Ambition charging towards the boss. They didn't stop in order to kill him. Killing him didn't even seem to be intentional. Yeah, there were two pro players commanding their 100 troops. Targeting him on purpose would be a joke. Deception revived and returned. Good. The boss battle hadn't ended yet. It was completely shrouded in chaos, the perfect opportunity for him to scrap pick. Deception immediately rushed over. Tyrannical Ambition's players meticulously took note of whatever their two pro players were concerned about. Someone immediately reported, that ninja we previously killed has returned. Oh, kill him, Zhang Jinji said bluntly. Tyrannical Ambition immediately focused their fire onto Deception. This time, Deception was aware and immediately dodged, but facing two gods, he was unable to escape. Deception stared stupidly at his screen. In the past, he had never seen a club guild put in so much effort just for him, especially during a critical moment like for a wild boss. Deception was very experienced. He always chose to move when the other side had no time to spare on him. If he were to just directly charge into the middle of an intense exchange, no matter how skilled he was, he would still be smashed into a pulp. However, this time, the other side actually turned around to attack him, not caring about anything else. This situation was like when that B** starred was chasing him. Deception's brain was drawing blanks. Those two were clearly from Team Tyranny. What's going on? Oh, that guy's got some skill. At this moment, Lin Jingyan noticed that Deception was still in somewhat good shape. He started to gain some interest and personally threw a brick at him. With an expert personally coming out along with the support of numerous others, Deception was unable to escape. Not bad. To think there was actually someone with that kind of skill in the game, Lin Jingyan said to Zhang Jinji. No wonder that guy is interested in him. He probably doesn't just want revenge, does he? Zhang Jinji said. You actually believed the lie that he came up with, Lin Jingyan laughed. Let's see if he comes back, Zhang Jinji said. If he comes back, do we kill him? Lin Jingyan asked. Kill him. We agreed, so of course we'll kill him. Zhang Jinji didn't hesitate. Zhang Jinji and Lin Jingyan were busy in the morning, while Yishu and the others in Happy were fast asleep. The two pro players would definitely be able to see that Deception wasn't an ordinary player. If they saw that, would they try to steal him away? Chen Guo was worried about this question. Yishu nonchalantly said, two ace players just joined their team. Team Tyranny has way too many people right now and should be trying to get rid of them instead. You think they're going to try to get more people in? Teams play the game to compete, but forming a team isn't a game. Seeing someone pretty good and roping him into the team is something only those in the game would do. Quote. That morning, Deception died a total of 5 times. The first time may have been an accident. The second time was hard for him to believe, but the third and fourth time showed that Deception had finally been noticed, so he switched accounts and came back on again. His character Not White was the 5th contributor to the death count. Deception finally understood now. He was still being targeted by that guy. Even during the day, he wouldn't get a chance to scrap pick. He had been scrap picking the entire time. How could he not know that tyrannical ambition always happened to come on, when those guys weren't? So those two groups were originally together. No wonder they split up to play at different times, Deception thought angrily. His logic was a bit too simple though. Chapter 764. Still not interested. Deception had originally found a way to avoid being pursued, but after being killed 5 times by tyrannical ambition, he was finally feeling despair. The strength of Yishu and his guys were something that he couldn't survive against. As for tyrannical ambition, Deception had been caught off guard at first, but later on, he was definitely aware of their hostility, yet he still couldn't escape. He realized tyrannical ambition's strength as well. He paid attention to wild bosses day after day. How could he not know of tyrannical ambition's recent dominance in the wild boss competition, so he was able to easily recognize that tyrannical ambition was an opponent that he could not handle. Day and night. The entire day was occupied by the enemy. Deception felt like he had no way out. He needed to find that guy and make things clear. Deception thought with hatred. Because he had been forced to sleep earlier, he could at least console himself for having a good sleep schedule. He yawned and waited resentfully. Deception soon noticed some movements. Relying on his experience, he quickly found a new wild boss. At the same time, he saw Heavenly Justice, conquering clouds, radiant, and parade to no surprise. Deception didn't hide. He quickly stood in their line of sight. As a result, in the next second, he saw the other side rush towards him like a tidal wave. Deception hastily ran. He had to at least wait for that guy to show his face. He couldn't get drowned by these unknown people. Let There Be Light was that guy's most recently used account. Deception knew of this piece of information, so he searched for any signs of this battle mage. Yishu obviously wouldn't hide like Lin Jingyan. On the contrary, whenever he found Deception, he would personally greet him. However, Deception always avoided him like a mouse running from a cat. Deception didn't run this time though. Since he was looking for Yishu's character, the two quickly came across each other. How has your scrap picking been going these days? When the two faced each other, Deception heard Let There Be Light ask. Deception was trembling with anger. He really wanted to charge at him and start fighting, but he knew that, against this person, let alone him having a numbers advantage, he had no chance in a 1v1 either. At this moment, Deception felt like he was being forced to lower his head. That wasn't a good feeling at all. He was already thinking about abandoning his original plan and preparing to fight to the death with this person, but he suddenly felt the pressure lessen. The other side seemed to have calmed down. He didn't need to dodge around anymore. Then, he heard that guy continue, See, as long as we put in more effort, scrap picking isn't possible. What's the point in doing something pointless? Deception was slightly startled. Although his words weren't entirely correct, it had some logic to it. Deception frequently scrap-picked during wild boss battles. He obviously knew that, for the absolute majority of the time, it wasn't that his individual skill was vastly superior, but rather the other side was busy with the wild boss and had no time to deal with him. Now he seemed to have encountered someone who was willing to put in the time and effort to kill him, so not only was he unable to scrap-pick, he was turned into scrap time after time. Join our team. If you really find it boring, then it won't be too late to go back to scrap picking, Yi Shu said. Fine, Deception spoke his first word since the start of the conversation. Oh, Yi Shu was surprised, but Deception's reply sounded firm and decisive. He couldn't waste time, so he asked, Is it convenient for you to come over to our place? Where? Deception asked. Yi Shu told him their location. After Deception replied with an okay, he didn't wait for Yi Shu to ask anything further and his character suddenly stopped moving. Did he just log off? Yi Shu wondered. Not long afterwards, Deception had disappeared. Sure enough, he had forcefully closed the game. He agreed just like that. Yi Shu was still figuring out what had just happened. Deception's decisiveness exceeded his expectations. No way. That fast? Didn't he just arrive? Wei Chen had been paying attention to their situation, but he only heard Yi Shu talk. He couldn't hear any of Deception's replies. Yeah, I just said a few words and he agreed, Yi Shu said. F***ck, so straightforward. There aren't going to be any problems, right? Wei Chen found it hard to believe. I have no idea. Yi Shu really didn't know because he wasn't familiar at all with Deception. F***ck, he's not going to come over and PK you in real life because he knows your address now, right? I feel like it's definitely possible, Wei Chen said in a serious tone. Deception had been living in an abyss of suffering these past few days. Everyone here was a target of resentment for him. I can't rule out that possibility. It's a good thing I left him with your name, Yi Shu said. What the F***ck, Wei Chen cursed. Yi Shu messaged him with a typed answer, so it was easy for the other side to record it. Wei Chen didn't know what he had written. Now that he heard about it, he was furious. You must be careful in the future, Yi Shu said sincerely. You be *****. Wei Chen cursed. He wasn't really scared though. After all, with his background, he might even be less scared of a real-life fight than an in-game fight, but on the morning of the next day, when he left the internet cafe back to his living place, Wei Chen still looked around the internet cafe. He didn't find any particularly good weapons to use though. In the end, he grabbed a few pull-top cans and put them in a plastic bag. He carried them firmly in his hands and left. Steamed Bun saw Wei Chen's actions and seemed to think hard for a few moments before nodding his head. He's already grabbed so many, so I won't need to. Quote, he left too. Chen Guo was speechless. She would frequently look over at Yi Shu's screen when something happened. She had seen the message that Yi Shu had given Deception. The person that he told Deception to look for was Yi Shu, not Wei Chen. Chen Guo didn't reveal the truth to Wei Chen though. She was secretly hoping for those two shameless guys to fight each other. Perhaps that would make the world peaceful again? Chen Guo tried to justify her actions. There was nothing to do today. Then, at 3:17 a.m., someone knocked on their practice door. An employee stuck his head in. Boss, someone's waiting downstairs. What? Chen Guo was surprised. Someone is looking for Brother Yi, the employee said. Ever since Excellent Era came over without an invitation, Chen Guo had given her employees some instructions on what to do in such situations. If a person was looking for someone here, have them wait downstairs. Don't directly lead them up here, especially to the practice room. The employee followed her directions, but it was very unusual for a person to be looking for someone at 3:17 a.m. He's not trying to take advantage while it's dark to take revenge, right? Chen Guo looked at Yi Shu and asked, how many people? Just one person, the employee replied. What did he bring? Chen Guo asked. I don't think he brought anything, the employee said. Shall we go down and have a look? Chen Guo asked Yi Shu. Of course, Yi Shu had already gotten up. The others also heard that someone had come looking for Yishu at 3 in the morning and felt that it was very strange. They also got up. Not long afterwards, they headed downstairs together and saw a guy standing by the front desk. He stared expressionlessly at the stairs. For him, that was where the employee had gone to go look for the people he was trying to find. "Who's looking for me?" Yishu asked despite already knowing the answer. It could be considered as a "I'm Yishu." "Me," that person replied, deception. "Oh, it really is you. Why did you come at this time?" Yishu said. "The flight was at 12, deception said. Oh, everyone suddenly understood. It turns out that this brother was indeed very decisive. He said he would come and he had bought a plane ticket here immediately. "Where did you come from?" Chen Guo asked. "City K," deception said. "What's your horoscope?" Steamed Bun also asked. Quote. Steamed Bun, stop with that nonsense, Yishu interrupted Steamed Bun, let's go upstairs and have a chat. They brought Deception upstairs to the practice room. Deception looked around left and right, but didn't say anything. He just continued to stand there expressionlessly. Everyone was starting to carefully measure up this new person. Deception wasn't too tall. He was around 170 centimeters tall. His hair was around medium length. He was neither handsome nor ugly. His expressionless face gave them a hostile feeling though. Besides the hostility, he even seemed to carry a bit of murderous intent. That was obvious though. Anyone who had gone through what Deception had experienced would definitely be angry at Yishu too. "What's your name?" Yishu asked for his real name. "Mo Fan," Deception replied. "Oh, shall I explain to our team's situation, then?" Yishu said. "No need," Mo Fan said. "Oh. Not interested," Mo Fan said. "Tisk tisk. You're being emotional. That's not good," Yishu sighed. Everyone was speechless. It would be strange if he wasn't feeling any emotion. Real matches will start in September. Experience the team for yourself until then. How about you stay here for a month, Yishu said. Mo Fan declined to comment. You weren't planning on coming over to say you're not interested and then going back to scrap pick, right? Yishu said. Mo Fan didn't reply, but from the looks of it, it seemed like that was indeed what he had planned on doing. How irresponsible. You've traveled such a long way to get here. Even if it's cheaper to fly in the early morning, it still isn't convenient. How about you stay here for a few days and then decide? Yishu arranged, pull an all-nighter with us. Then, tomorrow you can follow those two back. There's a place for you to live there. You don't need to worry about anything. Did you bring anything with you? My account card, Mo Fan said. Chapter 765. Nothing to do. Mo Fan stayed behind to pull an all-nighter. Mo Fan wasn't a stranger to pulling all-nighters, but it was his first doing it with so many other people. After sitting down expressionlessly at an empty seat, the person next to him gave him a smile. Hi, Mo Fan couldn't ignore Su Mucheng's friendly smile and greeted her, but then he saw the character on her screen, Chasing Haze. Mo Fan wanted to retract his greeting. Chasing Haze had blasted him into dust numerous times over these past few days. She was the most troublesome enemy next to Yishu. So it's this girl. He couldn't connect that warm smile with that fierce launcher from the game. Too deceitful, Mo Fan thought to himself, while quietly sizing up everyone else. Although the launcher was sharper, the female battle mage was much more ferocious. Which one? Mo Fan looked at Chen Guo and Tang Ru. It was easy to connect beauty with kindness. Seeing those two girls, no matter which one was the battle mage, Mo Fan only had one evaluation, too deceitful. After looking over everyone, Mo Fan had nothing to do. What should I do? After logging into the game, he felt a bit bored. Usually, he would organize his information on wild bosses and then pay attention to any potential areas, but did he need to do any of that now? Mo Fan was staring blankly at his screen, when he suddenly heard Yishu call out, Mo Fan, how about you come and hunt wild bosses with us? Add me as a friend first, Yishu said. After going through their game settings, the two turned on the option to accept friend invites and eventually added each other as friends. If a boss spawns, I'll PM you, Yishu messaged. And if there isn't one, Mo Fan couldn't help but ask. You're free to do whatever you want, Yishu replied. Thus, he just sat there staring at his screen up until the sun came up. Starting from when Mo Fan arrived at Happy Internet Cafe at around 3 o'clock until now, not a single wild boss had spawned. Wei Chen was in an extremely bad mood and looked at Mo Fan with hostility. It was as if he believed Mo Fan was the reason that no bosses were spawning today. Wei Chen even searched around for the weapons that he found yesterday, but he couldn't even find them. Then, he remembered that Steamed Bun had finished all of the drinks long ago. "Punk, come with us." After breakfast, Wei Chen called out to Mo Fan fiercely. Mo Fan wasn't scared at all by Wei Chen's gangster-like personality. He had finished his breakfast a while ago and was staring blankly out into the distance. He stood up and followed Wei Chen, Steamed Bun, and Chow Yifan out. He didn't say goodbye to Yi Shu or the others who had stayed. This person, Chen Guo stumbled on her words. She didn't know what to say. After a while, she asked Su Mucheng and Tang Ru, "Did any of you talk to him?" "No," Tang Ru shook her head. "I smiled at him once," Su Mucheng said. "It seems like he isn't the type who likes to socialize," Chen Guo said to Yi Shu. "Seems like it," Yi Shu said. "Then what do we do? What if he's determined to remain uninterested in our team?" Chen Guo asked. "If he really isn't interested, then there's no point in keeping him," Yi Shu said. Chen Guo was surprised at first, but she soon understood Yi Shu's meaning. "But what if his mood doesn't change?" Chen Guo said. "I hope not," Yi Shu sighed. "Don't be like you have nothing to do with this." Chen Guo was angry. "He's feeling like that all because of what you've done to him." "We have to take things step by step," Yi Shu said. "I feel like our current situation isn't too bad. At least, he's here." Then, they went to rest. When they woke up and logged into the game, they discovered that while they were away, the last 6 bosses of the week had all spawned. Tyrannical ambition happily and easily took them all. Yi Shu and the others could only sigh at their bad luck. Wei Chen gave Mo Fan a hateful look. It was a classic example of releasing one's anger on someone who didn't deserve it. Mo Fan ignored it though. "He's got a strong will," Yi Shu continued to sigh. With no wild bosses left, there wasn't much point in playing the game for the people in this room. Yi Shu went into the arena and entered the equipment editor. He pulled up numerous resources for materials and began studying the next step of the myriad manifestations umbrella. Wei Chen wasn't idle though. Samsara might not have anything to do for him, but that wasn't his main work. In the competitive scene, a single silver weapon wasn't enough. Wei Chen began researching other equipment based on what he required. As for Chen Guo, she needed to manage the guild. Quite a few players in the 10th server managed to reach level 70. However, the majority of these new players from the new server were stuck on the Heavenly Domain quests. Players ambitious enough to enter the Heavenly Domain spent the majority of their time here. For these players, as long as they put in enough time and work, they would be able to pass the regular quests, but the arena requirements actually required a certain amount of skill to pass. Why else did the saying, "the heavenly domain had no noobs," exist? The 10th server's guild Happy had no Yi Shu to support them, so their development was rather mediocre, but they had a solid following now. Chen Guo frequently leaked out that the guild's growth in the heavenly domain was flourishing. The guild was just waiting for them to join. Her words fired up the players. Was Guild Happy thriving in the heavenly domain? Everyone had their own opinions. From their competitiveness for wild bosses, Guild Happy could stand proud over all of the player guilds and even the majority of the club guilds. But from a numbers perspective, their guild level and size were terrible. Most of them were alternate accounts, which didn't even appear online. The several friends that Chen Guo had urged to come pretty much left after making up for the shortage of members. They needed the guild's guardian buff. However, Happy's guild level was so low. With just their few people, how could they ever hope to reach max level? That wasn't something these stopgaps could accomplish. Chen Guo felt like she could rally a great number of supporters through Yi Chu's name. However, considering that the guild would need an integral foundation for their pro team, Guild Happy would also need trustworthy elite members. As a result, Chen Guo felt like it was better to develop slowly, so the guild didn't randomly add members in order to hurry and level up the guild. Chen Guo was looking forward to those in the new server. Those new players had been with the guild the entire way. They could be considered as having a certain level of emotional attachment to the guild. Chen Guo waited for the day that they poured into the heavenly domain. Chen Guo busied herself with these things. When Tang Ru, Steamed Bun, and Chao Yifan weren't busy fighting for wild bosses, they dungeoned, killed monsters, or went to the arena to carry out specialized and purposeful training. Everyone seemed to have their own tasks to take care of. Mo Fan was at a loss though. He decided to observe what Su Mucheng and everyone else was busy with. Then, he saw Su Mucheng log out of the game. She opened up a web browser and did a quick search. A window popped up on her screen and a TV show began playing. Su Mucheng took out a bag of melon seeds from her pocket, put it on the table, and started busying herself with those. But, he couldn't copy doing that. Mo Fan's poker face was about to change into a different expression. Was this what a rumored pro team was like? Watch TV and eat melon seeds when there was nothing to do. Just like that? Mo Fan was astonished. Su Mucheng felt Mo Fan looking towards her side and turned her head. She saw Mo Fan staring at the bag of melon seeds on her table, so she grabbed the bag and started pouring out melon seeds onto his side of the table. No need, by the time Mo Fan responded, half the bag had been poured out onto the table. Su Mucheng gave him a friendly smile again before going back to watching her TV show. Should I also watch a show? Mo Fan was at a loss. He glanced at Su Mucheng's screen. The show's name was called A Familiar Stranger. She was 24 episodes in. If he started watching now, he wouldn't be able to keep up. Mo Fan felt stupid right now. He even forgot what he usually did when he wasn't scrap picking. He stayed lost in thought all the way until dinner came. When Yi Shu asked him, "How are you feeling?" Mo Fan replied, "Very bored." "Yes," Yi Shu said, "the season hasn't started yet. It's the preparation period right now." "What do I need to prepare?" Mo Fan asked. When he asked this question, he couldn't help but glanced at Su Mucheng. Even if he didn't know how to prepare, he definitely knew that watching TV and eating melon seeds wasn't preparing. For now, stealing bosses and wild boss materials to create silver equipment are our main priorities, Yi Shu said. Stealing wild boss materials, Mo Fan's expressionless face actually brightened up a bit. It's more of killing wild bosses. We split the materials after killing a boss, Yi Shu explained. It wouldn't be good if Mo Fan followed along to help kill the boss and then when it was time to split the materials, it would be very embarrassing if he rushed forward to grab the materials that Lulan Slash or Yuzikan or White Stream or Martial Awareness dropped onto the ground. That's because wild boss materials are the rarest and most important materials. As for other materials, there were other ways to obtain them. They're easier to get, so there's no need to fight over them, Chen Guo added. When the word steal was mentioned, Mo Fan's spirited look gave her a fright. There aren't any more wild bosses left this week, Mo Fan said. Yeah, so everyone can relax for the rest of this week and then we start again next week, Yi Shu said. Quote. But not for you, Yi Shu suddenly switched topics. You need to receive training. If not, how are you going to compete in a pro match? Before Mo Fan could reply, he suddenly heard a shout from the internet cafe downstairs. Minnesota, Zhao Yang is going to transfer too. What? During the transfer window, everyone was sensitive towards this type of news. When everyone at the table heard this shout, they immediately got up and stood around a computer. Mo Fan was suddenly the only one at the table. They weren't the only ones excited. The entire internet cafe exploded into noises of discussion about the news of this Zhao Yang. Is the pro scene really that interesting? The liveliness of the internet cafe astonished Mo Fan. He took another bite and his mind began to wander.